Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 120-102, and the Lakers got the victory at home at Crypto.com Arena against the New Orleans Pelicans. And, boy, if you listen closely, you can still hear Lakers missing free throws. It was ridiculous. I'm not sure exactly how we ended up missing as many as we did, but I believe we probably missed over 15 free throws on the night. It was just barely, really bad in that way. But aside from that, we had a pretty good night. Since we're talking about the bad, we can just get that out the way early. 20, if I'm not mistaken, 20 points off turnovers given up. So we didn't love that too much, even though our turnovers was down at 10. You don't want to give up that many points off of those. It was something else that was a little glaring that I said, nah, we could have did a little better too. But other than that, rebounding. Yeah, we got out rebounded pretty good tonight. Other than that, the team looked really good. The team looked really good. That's why I wanted to get the bad out the way early, because it wasn't too much bad really at all. A couple guys struggled, but the majority of the team was just really fantastic. And you could just see how deep this team is and how the new additions really add. Just overall everything that we needed. You got to give credit to Rob Pelinka. You know, he walked over. You know, AD walked over to him and gave him a handshake, a high five, or however that works. After he got subbed out of the game, and you could just see, like, people are stamping it. They're stamping how he handled everything. And you got to give him credit. You know, he didn't pull any triggers on any bad moves. He did everything he needed to do to make sure we got the talent that we needed, and we could see us paying dividends immediately. This was a game where you could really see the difference. Where do I want to start? Anthony Davis, high efficiency, 28 points. Several rebounds, blocks. Really had a big comeback game tonight, and that's what I was hoping to see. He's had some tough couple of days. You know what I mean? I read some propaganda stating one of the reasons could have been that he heard he was getting traded. Just like I said, that little scenario that I put out there. Now that I'm reading that there's some stuff going around that says that on it, but take it with a grain of salt. Either way, AD bounced back strong, and I hope we're seeing the best of AD going forward, because this is ultimately what we want to see him do. At the end of the day, he just needs to come back from his injury, get used to his to getting back in game shape, get his rhythm back under him, and he'll be back to his normal self. I do think that foot could give him some trouble, but given how he handled tonight, I felt pretty good about him. LeBron James is out there doing good stuff as well. 21 points for him. Don't remember his rebound total or his assist total, but I can tell you he had a very solid game. Beyond solid, really. I thought he played very well. Just overall, getting others involved, scoring the buckets. Of course, missing free throws like everybody else, but the king was definitely helpful tonight. He's still laboring on that foot a little bit, but I thought he was enjoying playing with his new teammates. That's what I noticed. And D'Angelo Russell, man. You know, I have to update the reports. From what I understand, they're going to be starting negotiations with D'Angelo this week to try to get him re-signed. I support it 130%. I do believe that when you have a player like him, who you know fits what you do, who you know is of age, 26 years of age, who basically provides shooting, which is something we've had really a lot of trouble finding since he left. Basically, he really had too many shooters since. And he comes back and it's almost like he never left. Just like he said at the end of the game after he hit a shot. He says like I never left is what he worded. What I was able to read from him saying that, and what I know is just that. It is like he never left. This is a situation where you got a young player coming in shooting the ball very well from 3 levels, assisting on the defensive end, pushing the agenda on the offensive end, getting guys involved, passing the rock, just doing everything you need him to do, being vocal, being evident that his energy is helpful. And that's what it was. I felt like AD would possibly turn a corner when I saw D'Lo sitting there talking to him in the last game, sitting there just talking basketball with him, kind of like, I felt like we were going to turn a corner, because whatever's going on with Anthony Davis, what he needs to understand is it's time to recalibrate. Nothing happened. Nobody got traded. You know what I mean? All is well. We got some new teammates that can help us win, and we're going to try to go after the championship. And so Whatever was wrong beforehand, whatever we thought was going on, whatever we need to work out, let's work it out so we can get back on point and go after this goal. Because at the end of the day, we got an opportunity. You know, when you look at the type of talent that we just picked up, we picked up some serious reinforcements. Jared Vanderbilt, all over the place tonight, just doing everything you want to see him do, rebounding, put back layups. That put back layup he had at the end of the game was just spectacular. Around the mid of the fourth quarter, I think, just spectacular stuff all over the floor, rebounding, flying out of nowhere, just being everywhere for you all the time. And I just want to see that kid on this team for the rest of his career. I mean, guys like that you don't never want to see go anywhere. You just keep him right next to you and just sub him in whenever you need energy, because he's going to give that to you. And when AD and he are on the floor at the same time, we could be one of the best defensive teams in the game. You know, just off the strength of those two and their talent. I can't tell you how many times we saw Pelicans try to score the ball over Anthony Davis and it get erased. Anthony Davis was spectacular on the defensive end tonight, just like he has been every game since he came back. And this was just another one of those great Anthony Davis defensive performances. He just could not let anything fly past him. As soon as guys try to lay the ball up or anything of that nature, it was getting erased. Block after block after block. So I really love that. Mo Bamba also gave me a lot with his shot blocking ability at the end of the game. Shooting left a lot to be desired because he couldn't hit a three. But I really liked what his length did and just being disruptive. Particularly, it's very impressive to know that we can play him, play Vanderbilt, play Rui Hachimura, play Troy Brown, play Wenyen Gabriel, and have all types of rim protection that has nothing to do with Anthony Davis, nothing to do with LeBron James. When you consider that, you understand how dangerous this team can be. When you consider that D'Angelo Russell gave us 27 points, I believe it was, or 21, I don't remember. Same amount of points as Bron. When he puts up the same amount point total as LeBron James, you understand that you have a legitimate third star. You have somebody that you can count on to give you star production outside of Anthony Davis and LeBron James on each and every night. And that is exactly why I think it's important the Lakers do exactly what they intend to do, which is get D'Lo signed to a contract. Don't even let him hit free agency. It's not necessary, because at the end of the day, what our plan was as a team was to make trades for pieces that we intended to re-sign. And I think staying true to those principles is probably the smartest and the most stable way to move forward as a franchise, especially if you have every intention of keeping that piece in place. Having him test free agency when you already have these plans with the two anchor superstars that we have in LeBron James and Anthony Davis, if they give D'Lo the stamp, we don't even want any chance of him not staying with us. You know, that's the kind of how I'm looking at it. You don't want them to enjoy playing with him. It's the same thing I said about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. You don't want Luka Doncic falling in love with playing with Kyrie Irving and then he signs with somebody else. You do not want AD and Bron falling in love with playing with D'Lo and then he leaves and then you can't replace him with nobody worth playing with. That's not good. So for me, not to say that I think D'Lo is going to be the biggest free agent target out there, but because of this free agent pool that is available, which has a limited amount of talent on it, you could see D'Lo being overpaid if he hits free agency and we overachieve. Now, the risk to having him sign this early is, of course, if something goes wrong, you got him on contract for a reason or another. So that's the only thing that you would consider. But aside from that, if you can get him at a price that you like, you probably want to put him on the books and not think too much of it, especially considering the fact that we have so many other people to negotiate with in the offseason. You don't have to worry about your third star. So I'm on board so long as we can get him at a price that we like. And that's what that is, man. I'm not against it at all. When I see the type of options that the Lakers have down there, the only thing that really bothers me is the fact that now, because we're so deep, we legitimately have good players that are not going to be able to play, and there's nothing we can do about it. Lonnie Walker, I think, got all of 4 minutes tonight. That's never supposed to happen. We definitely should have traded him if this is how it was going to be. And it ain't got nothing to do with him. We're not mad at him at all. It's just the nature of the roster. He's been pushed back, and he's too good for that. So if ever there was a mistake, we just didn't trade him, and we're probably gonna lose him for nothing. So that's the one thing that I could say tonight was an indicator. If he's not going to be getting any playing time, we're in trouble with that particular thing. What else? Rui Hachimura struggled tonight. I just don't know. I don't know about him as it pertains to how much of a role I want to give him versus other players. I just see a lot of flaws there that he's going to have to work through. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to be the dribbler and the fast player that you want him to be. You probably want him to stay in the paint. I thought we had him sealed really well in the paint for over the top type of dump pass into the paint for him, like usually gives the centers and stuff like that. I thought that was really good, and maybe we could try exploring more opportunities to get him easy buckets where he's just completely got a man sealed. Because he is that big and strong, and he's very difficult to stop in those situations. So I felt like that was a better look. But trying to get him to be a three-point shooter, catching in these corner, these awkward three-point angles that we give him, he hasn't hit but probably one or two of those since being a Laker thus far. And I just don't want us to continue to ask him to be a three-point shooter if it's not really his thing. Now, granted, we brought him here thinking he was going to be a three-point shooter and all that, and that's cool. But we can still utilize other things that he does. But we don't need him chasing three-point shots if for some reason he's deficient as a Laker. It's not the end of the world. We do have shooters. And speaking of which, I couldn't be more happy with Malik Beasley, man. He's won me over. Malik Beasley has won me over. I'm going to tell you right now, I see just enough from him defensively to know that I can trust him. That's essentially what I'm here to say. Not saying he's a defensive player. I'm not even saying he's good defensively. I'm just saying I've seen enough from him to know that if I got to leave him out there, he's not going to be the worst person on the floor defensively. And that's the most important thing with shooters. It's like, are you going to be a guy that gives up every point you take? Every point you make, are you going to be a guy that gives it up? Because three-point shooters, their percentages are going to be more so low. You're happy if they shoot 39%. You're happy if they shoot 41%. So that means if they're giving up 60 and 70% of what they're giving on the defensive end, they're a complete liability to you no matter how many shots they are ultimately able to hit. So my thing is this. I'm watching for my shooters. Can they defend? Can Malik Beasley be left out there for any reason? And if so, can we trust him? And the answer is absolutely. We're seeing good stuff from him on the defensive end. He's trying hard. He's getting involved. And, man, his three-point shot, I mean, the dude is special. Watching him stroke the ball is a thing of beauty. The boy is one of the more premier strokes out there, you know. Just watching him shoot that corner shot tonight, you could just see his form. He was born to do this. He does it very well, and you should let him shoot a lot. So I'm even more excited about Malik Beasley now that we got him here. I wasn't super thrilled beforehand, but now 3 games in, yeah, Malik Beasley is one BDL 44 over for sure. I'm not gonna overrate him to say that I want him out there for 35 minutes or nothing like that. He's a shooter, but I trust the shooter, and that's basically what you want to be able to say. I trust the shooter, so that's a real good thing. Austin Reeves, saw him play some tonight. It's one of those situations where it's hard to get him in rotation, which is a dangerous thing because you definitely need him out there for the various things that he does, the plays that he makes. You want to keep him out there with the guys that like playing with him, like Bron loves playing with him. You definitely want him to have as much floor general time with Bron as possible. And he just keeps good continuity with most of the players down there, man. So I like how he played tonight. The 3-point play, the 4-point play that he hit down there, I think it was in the first half. Seeing him get back in rhythm and ultimately find his groove is a welcome sight to see for sure. Who else do I want to talk about here? Dennis Schroeder, his minutes were cut. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, even though by the end of the game, when you look at the minutes he ultimately got, all of his minutes, but if you were looking through the third quarter and you were checking the stats throughout the course of the game, he didn't play as much as he normally does. In fact, he barely played throughout the meat and potatoes of this game. And I think it was just a testament to the more of what we've been talking about, which is you got to pick guards to play, and you're not going to have a chance to play everybody. I think, you know, it's one of those things where he had told everybody he was going to start Dennis Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell, and then the response came in, and everybody was pretty much unanimously saying, nah, we ain't rolling with it. And I think he decided to go against it. I believe that's what happened. And the results are good, man. The results were good. We beat the Pelicans pretty good tonight, and you just got to give a lot of respect to the fact that sometimes going conventional is just the way. Sometimes things look that way, you apply it the way it should be as it looks, and it will work the way you want it to. You don't have to take an unconventional route every time. You don't have to be unorthodox at all times. No, some stuff is conventional and it works, and I think that's where we got to go with Darvin Ham. He always wants to come through the side entrance. Like, nah, dude, just go through the front door. We good. Match up, and let's just do what we can do for ourselves. I saw a couple situations where we had guys on the floor sealed. Where we got lost with our rotations and left Anthony Davis to be the only big out there while Valanciunas and Bi and Jones were on the floor. It was a one sequence down there where I'm like, yo, we just gave up an easy pin down layup to a defender over Dennis Schroeder or something. I mean, an offensive player over Dennis Schroeder or something of that nature. So it didn't happen as much, and that's what we like to see. Our fast break points, I believe we did a really good job there as a team. So that needs to be noted. And elbow rebounding, we talk about it a lot in the first half of the season with the other squad. We gotta teach the new guys what it is, because they made a lot of mistakes in that way tonight, and as a result, the Pelicans had a lot more possessions than they necessarily needed. We just got to understand if the guys are going to shoot 3-point shots, and obviously you need to be hovering around the free throw line. Long shot, long rebound, period. Saw that far too much tonight. Let's see. Troy Brown, defensive play, I thought he was good. Overall, it was just a nice night, LeBron James was picking his spots, doing things that he needed to do. The calls, that's where I wanted to go with this game. So we did win the game by a lot. We were very, very happy, but I do believe that the officiating left a lot to be desired tonight. A whole lot. On both sides, the first play that comes to mind is the Josh Richardson play when LeBron James hit him upside the head. That was the first play that comes to mind. I mean, you can't, they gave him 2 technicals and kicked him out the game. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I have. If I'm going to complain about something, let what I'm complaining about not be true. If you're going to throw me out, you know what I'm saying? Don't have it so that the whole arena saw that you hit me in the head. You know what I'm saying? And then I complain about it and the ref gives me a T. Like, that ain't right, man. That ain't right. Or kicks him out, even worse, for being upset at something he legitimately had a right to be upset about. Like, at some point in time, we need to acknowledge that is a flaw in the system in and of itself. If everybody sees that the ref got it wrong, then the ref has no right to reprimand a player for being upset at the call. That's pretty much what I say. That should be free emotion for me. I don't care what he says or what he did. If the call was wrong, then the ref was wrong. And the referee created the environment for which that technical took place by making the error take place himself. So that's what it is, man. I don't like that about the league. I don't like that at all. I just want to throw that out there. So that was one thing I didn't like. And then on our side, every time we go to the layup line, every time we go to the line, we'd have to take on real punishment to get calls. We saw calls where guys had their arms up. I think it was a play where Troy Brown had his arms up, and I don't know who drove at him, maybe Troy Murphy or something like that. Gave him the call. Troy was trying to avoid a contact at all costs. He was doing everything he could to keep from being hit with the call, but they were on that synchronized swimming bullcrap tonight. Man, you saw a lot of those touch fouls go to the Pelicans' way repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. So, I thought this officiating didn't help us, even though we didn't help ourselves by missing the free throws that they gave us. All in all, I just thought that the game was what it was. It's modern NBA basketball, synchronized swimming, synchronized dancing, calls that you don't respect, imbalance, etc. So, yeah, I didn't like that, and I thought it was something to see in regards to this game. On the other side, you want to give Bi credit. He definitely did some things. I think what you really saw with the New Orleans Pelicans is just not enough production from their bench, not enough production from key players. Way too many offers out there. Way too many guys that just did not contribute, and it helped us a lot. When you look at Trigger Murphy, and Alvarado, they combined for 1 field goal. You know what I mean? And when you have those 2 very, very talented players who make up a big portion of what they do, not scoring at all, yeah, you're gonna have a nice night. You're gonna have a very nice night. So, I really like that. I think another thing that stands out about this game is the assist total. The Lakers really knocked it out of the park by assisting the ball quite a bit, and I wish I remember exactly what that total was if I'm gonna say it standing out. But at the end of the day, we just know we overwhelmed them with a good dose of healthy team basketball. Using each other, playing for one another, lobs and things of that nature. Um, and so I was very pleased overall at just how good the team looked in just a short amount of time after making these trades. And I just understand that we're all going to have to be patient with the rotations now, because they're going to be players that we don't want to see sit that are just going to have to sit. So that's the part that we don't really like too much. Let's see, man. There wasn't too much to say about this game. It was a very clean game. I think at the end of the day, when you play well and you win and you don't have any snags or any antagonists, it doesn't leave a whole lot to talk about. But you certainly walk away feeling a lot better about it than you would have if there were. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make for long videos. The game was played very clean from our side. I thought both of our superstars showed up to the plate. I thought our third star is continuing to solidify himself as that in D'Angelo Russell. And I think the rest is just us trying to figure out who we can play and win. But the idea that we want to keep D'Angelo Russell was a good one. I think it's a good one. And that's what I took from here. He's doing everything he can to get ingratiated with this organization once again very early. And I don't think that the roles that he had in Minnesota and Golden State really solidified what he is that he can do for us. I think we're going to see more of a Brooklyn style D'Lo, and if he can give us more of that, or keep himself healthy as he continues to be himself, which is that, I like our chances. I like our chances in the Western Conference. Now, it's a tale of two things, because we got to get a playoff spot first. And even though we have a team that obviously could kill it in the regular season if we were given 82 games, right now we probably need to go well above 500 for the rest of the season just to make the playoffs. So it's a situation where you got to make that push, and then once we get to the playoffs, we can start talking about how well we think we're going to do or what have you. But we could be very well playing excellent basketball, but if we lose a couple of these games that are coming up, it ain't going to matter how well we're playing. We're just going to be out of it. So that's the thing. Can we be good enough in the short window of time that we need to win enough games to give ourselves a playoff chance? And then when we do, we can establish what we think we can be. But it don't matter how good you are if you lose the wrong games in this little flurry. So obviously this is the next this is the break before the All-Star break is coming up right now. We'll do all the festivities and stuff like that. I think there's probably like 4 days after the All-Star game where they don't play. That's how they did it last year. I don't know if they'll do it that way or not, but I'm guessing they'll keep that rhythm. I have to check, and then you'll see basketball. So it's going to be a little bit before we see basketball again if things go the way they did last year. Probably another 8 or 9 days. But nevertheless, you'll see the All-Star break and the festivities, and I'm pretty sure it'll be nice in Utah and all that. Guys got to stay healthy there, knock on wood. Hopefully we can lick our wounds, get guys healthy. AD can go recalibrate, do whatever he needs to do, because I know that, he's going to have an opportunity to do that. So that's what I want to see our guy do. Just get away, come back, and recalibrate and be that guy that he needs to be to help us push toward these playoffs. Same thing with LeBron James, even though I know he'll be down there in Utah for all their festivities. I hope that they limit his minutes in that game. I would ask that he request that they limit his minutes in that game. So, yeah. What else is there to say, man? CJ McCollum did his thing out there. He was looking real sharp. Mid-range jumpers, all types of stuff. Dribble, pull-up, turnaround jumpers, all kinds of stuff. He was really in his bag tonight. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm really pleased with my team. When I look at that team over there that the Los Angeles Lakers put together with these new guys, I just understand that we're not leaning on our stars as much as we used to. We're not leaning on them as much as we have since we put them together. Especially for defense and length and things of that nature. So I'm just really, really pleased with the franchise's direction. I like how they're thinking. I like how precise they are about where we're at right now. And let's just see how this team plays out. Obviously it's the Kobe minute, so we want to salute. Anytime we beat the Pelicans, we feel really good about that, given the fact that we obviously want to win. This battle against them in regards to our draft pick, especially given the fact that it's in this draft. We don't want to be gifting them none of the best players that this draft has to offer. So getting a victory against them was important. And for AD, too. Anytime we can beat the Pelicans, it's very important that we do that for Anthony Davis. So I thought we dropped the ball last time we saw them. Did a lot of stupid crap. Back when Patrick Beverley was on the team, letting B.I. continue to repeatedly shoot over him down the stretch of the basketball game. No, we haven't forgotten about that. But all in all, I think we made up for it somewhat by getting him here. Of course, trading Patrick Beverley so that could not be possible tonight. And as a result, you saw a much more difficult time for the Pelicans. It wasn't no small ball to deal with. They had to deal with Vanderbilt. They had to deal with Bamba. They had to deal with AD. They had to deal with Brown. You know what I'm saying? They had to deal with Troy. They didn't have that kind of night. It wasn't going down like that. They had to deal with Beasley. They had to deal with D'Angelo. And then that made Troy more dangerous. That made Austin more dangerous. So, you know what I mean? I was happy that I was able to see Devon Reed down the stretch of the basketball game in garbage time. Hit a quick three. Nothing too serious, but I do want to see him get more minutes. I want to know a guy can't play before we play him like he can't play. That's essentially what I'm saying. I want to know that we don't have a dude that can really go sitting on the back of our bench just because his name is somebody you ain't never heard of. That's a mistake I ain't going to let our team make. Y'all know I ain't going to let our team make that. I need to know a guy sucks before we sit him like that. So that's where I'm at with it. Until I know what he can do, I can't justify with the minutes he's not getting at all. At all. And judging by the way he's using the minutes that he has, neither can Darvin. So I think we need to find a way to incorporate him into things. And if he starts making mistakes that merit the fact that he shouldn't be playing, play him. That's it. And then that's how hard it is to rotate a team like this. That's why a guy like Dennis Schroeder is going to lose some minutes. A guy like Lonnie Walker is going to sit some games. A guy like, Max Christie will not be seen for weeks at a time now because that is what we've done to our roster. And as long as we stay healthy, we got log jams everywhere. Also known as depth, which means our third unit is going to be able to blow people out if they're feeling good. So even though guys are going to have to sit, they may be able to be rewarded with some really meaningful basketball that their team could be a part of if we can just keep continuity, make smart decisions, and empower the right people at the right times. So that's going to be on Darvin him to do that, man. That's going to be on him. If we're not complaining about rotations, then he probably did a good job. I'm not complaining about rotations tonight. I don't remember anything that made me specifically say I don't like what I see other than that one situation where we did have someone sealed as I reflect on that once again. But all in all, I thought we did very good. All in all, I thought we left ourselves opportunities. And we just know what we need to work on. Rebounding, points off turnovers, free throw shooting. My God, that is really the key to this basketball game. Even though the Lakers won, it's the free throws. We know we didn't shoot the ball in an acceptable way. We know that. If you try to shoot the ball like this on most nights, you will lose. We know that. So I think that must be said. Our free throw shooting was awful and a half. And we're happy to have won. But that's not something that we're going to let slide at all. So that's it. That is where my head is, man. If I want to hand the game ball to anyone, I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably Anthony. Yeah, I'm giving it to Anthony Davis. His efficiency carried us throughout the game. His defensive prowess was just erasing everything. Saw crack a smile at the end of the game after hitting a jumper. Like, these are the type of things you just want to see AD do. We know he's had a tough week. We know the trade deadline wasn't fun for him. We know that he didn't have the greatest optics upon himself as it pertained to LeBron's celebration. We know that. We also know that he's one of the best players in the league. We also know he's an NBA champion with us. And we also know we're lucky to have him healthy. So we need to use him, utilize him, put him in positions to be successful, and root for him to cheer him on because he's out there trying for us. So I thought tonight was a great night for him based on the standards we've gotten used to over the last several games. and for us to get the win, really held firm. And if we look at how he's been blocking shots, if we look at how he's been rebounding the ball, he really has been stellar even throughout the struggles. So even though scoring hasn't necessarily been there, the winning hasn't always, the Portland game was embarrassing. I think at the end of the day, if you look at his stats in all them games, he's been balling for other people's standards. Maybe just not for his. So that's what I want to say, man. I'm giving him the game ball for that reason, but I'm very pleased with what I saw from D'Lo and Bron as well. Because D'Lo is just really, really being a great antithesis to Russell Westbrook's way of doing things. Just a good opposite. Not to pour it on too much, but just a nice opposite. And when you see that, you understand that you can trust him. You understand he's going to hit shots, whether it be off the catch and shoot or off the dribble. You understand that he can take advantage of the mid-range. He can do all the little things that most of these point guards do to take advantage of the ability to cheat these referees or get them calling fouls that they probably should not call. D'Lo's good at that too. He can make them call things. I saw a situation, he was driving straight down the lane, getting his calls, putting himself in a position to draw contact as he's driving at the layup. Getting to the line, you know what I mean? Even he missed some free throws tonight, even though he's a 92% free throw shooter. I don't know if it stays like that after tonight, but it's one of those things where it's like that type of smart play seals possessions for the Lakers. And that's where we had trouble. Empty possessions before the trade. Every time we look up, it was a possession thrown away with a bad shot, a possession thrown away with a turnover, a possession thrown away with some type of incompetence. You just don't see that as much with D'Lo. He's not going to do it. He's going to be careful with the basketball. He's going to make his shots. He's going to make good rhythm passes, and they're going to be precise because he's gifted at that. And so that is really, for me, what I just most enjoyed about tonight's game. That's what I most enjoyed. It's just watching him control things, watching him mesh with the teammates, watch him hold his own in the presence of these superstars and just have that continuity that you want to see him, provide this team. Putting his arms up in the air, trying to get the crowd off their feet. It's like, this is what we need. Ice in his veins. A guy who is built for these lights. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. A man who thrives under these particular lights. He ain't scared of nothing. And that is why we want him to be on this team. So I'm a supporter. I want D'Lo to stay. I understand that puts a monkey wrench on some other things that we got to do. But we're being surgical as it pertains to putting this team together. That's a 26-year-old guard who doesn't miss very much, who can make assists happen and various things that we need him to do. We like the trajectory of what he's going to look like over the next 4 years. And I would rather him not hit free agency if at all possible, even though I see the fruit in letting him do so if you have concerns about how things are going to go from here. So just study that. If you're going to, if you've already studied that and you're ready to negotiate, you think you can get a price with him, good. But sometimes when you negotiate with a player, there's another thing about this. Sometimes when you negotiate with a player early, you just got him, you want to negotiate. If you don't come to terms, then you got a situation where you might have messed with chemistry. Because now he's not as eager, in theory, to do all the things that you want him to do because you just told him that you ain't got his money. So that's a part of things why, this is why you want to make sure how you play it makes a lot of sense. Because if they can get a deal with him and they like that deal, they've sealed it. But if you go to the negotiation table and you have another Dennis Schroeder situation, now you're stuck with a guy who may not be happy with you for the rest of the season, who may be on his own type of time as opposed to being on what he's on right now, which is being a part of the team. So there are a lot of ways to ruin continuity and chemistry, and that could be one of them. But nevertheless, I'm going to leave that to the pros. I'm sure they see more pros than cons in that situation. So I want to keep D'Lo. I'm with that. So that's where I'm at, man. That's my mindset. I like where the Lakers are at. I like that we won this game. I wish we could have did a better job against Portland. I wish I would have saw that game, but I didn't. So everything I've seen from Lakers has been pretty positive, given the fact that I've been watching wins, Golden State, and of course this Pelicans win. So we got a lot of winning to do, man. I'm telling you, this is not something we can just say, oh, we got to win and we're good. No. We need to win. The next 3 games are going to be very tough after this All-Star break. We got Memphis. First is Golden State again, by the way. Not Memphis. It's Golden State again, then Memphis, then Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is how that goes. It's Dallas, Golden State, and if I think it's Memphis, might be the Timberwolves. I don't know, but the point is, some tough teams that we're going to be seeing. Tough teams, and because they're tough teams, it's no guarantee you're going to get those victories. So this is a situation where I'm looking at the Lakers. I'm saying, okay, we just beat the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be a nice little all-star break, blah, blah, blah. When we come back, we got to beat them again. We can't give them too much respect. Even if Steph Curry's back, we can't give them too much respect. We must win. So that's what I want to see, man. In a perfect world, the whole team is going up to Utah as a unit just to practice together during the all-star break, because that is as bad as we need continuity, to be honest with you. But that's a whole nother story. At any rate, this was a fantastic win for the LA Lakers. I'm glad the Pelicans could not get enough production from everyone else to make this thing work for them. And you got to give defense some credit as well. I thought we played better defense tonight. I thought we did some really good things in the paint for ourselves. And I thought we did some really good things, making sure that they couldn't score the ball from the perimeter as well. It really helped us to have guys out there who were fighting hard for that particular thing, especially given the fact that we played so poorly from behind, guarding the perimeter in the last one. So, yeah, that is it, man. That is where my mind is in regards to the Los Angeles Lakers Pelicans game. Super win. Can't wait for the All-Star break. I hope everybody enjoys that. And, if there's anything else to say, I'm pretty sure I'll make another video. But for now, my name is BDL44. And I thank you all for watching. I'm out.